Modern romance? It's a wild roller coaster where she vanishes like a cheap magic trick, leaving you as the clown in the circus, scrambling for a scrap of her attention. Then she pops back up, not because she misses you, but because her Instagram notifications hit a lull. And there you go, all eager, tossing out heart emojis, fire emojis, and that classic I miss you text, like you're the last hopeless romantic on earth. Spoiler alert, she doesn't give a damn. The cycle? Oh, it's a broken record, repetitive, predictable, and straight up pathetic. You think you're being real, but you're just a doormat for her emotions. A guy who melts at the tiniest crumb of attention, mistaking intensity for value. Here's the harsh truth. The more you serve yourself up on a silver platter, the less she wants you. Not because feelings are wrong, but because you're an open book with no plot twists. Where's the mystery, bro? An open book? Congrats, she's read it, dog-eared the pages, passed it to her friends for the tea, and now uses it as a coaster. Women don't fall for diaries on legs, they crave enigmas. That's where Stoic seduction comes in, the ancient art of not being a needy mess, desperate for her approval. You don't need to be an ice-cold robot. You just need to stop acting like your self-worth is on clearance at Amazon. Let's be crystal clear. This isn't for guys still chasing emoji validation. This is for men, real ones. The kind who walk into a room, own it, don't beg for affection, and sure as hell don't crumble over a "hey stranger" text. Before you bounce, thinking you'll soak up this wisdom and do jack squat, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a grateful in the comments. Not for me, for the algorithm gods deciding who gets the next wake-up call. Now sit up, wipe that puppy dog look off your face, and listen up. Because after today, you either level up, or keep playing the emotional lapdog for a woman who can't even recall your last name. Choose your humiliation wisely. Number 1, the real enemy lives rent-free in your head. Guess who's the true villain screwing up your love life? Not the girl who ghosted you like an unpaid bill. Not the jacked dude on Instagram or that cursed Tinder algorithm serving you fake profiles. Nope, it's you, champ. Your drama, your neediness, your expired desperation. It's all coming from that emotional train wreck you call a heart, careening downhill with no brakes. You're so desperate for acceptance, you dive headfirst into feelings without a parachute. You think, love me before respect me. You believe replying in 0.2 seconds and spilling your soul is emotional maturity, when really, you're just screaming, validate me, with a neon sign on your forehead. Here's the cold, hard truth. Unchecked emotions aren't charming. They're desperate. And desperation has the same vibe as a bucket of ice water in bed. When you give yourself away too easily, you're saying, take me, because I can't even stand myself. Guess what? Nobody's drawn to a guy who can't handle his own silence. You think being 100% emotionally transparent makes you irresistible? Sure, if she's writing a thesis on male codependency. You bare your soul at the first hey, and then cry when she doesn't care. Of course she doesn't. You're a clearance sale. Everything's free. No effort required. No one values what they don't have to earn. Seduction is a game of tension, mystery, and doubt. Not a reality show where you narrate every heartbeat. Want her to want you? Stop acting like her stories are divine summons. Her silence. It's not torture. It's a test. Her ghosting. Not a tragedy. It's a filter. That cryptic caption. Not about you, it's a generic attention grab. Stop falling for it like a sucker. As long as her likes control you, her heart never will. If her story from yesterday still has you spiraling, congrats. You're a prisoner of your own neediness. You're both the jailer and the inmate in this emotional lockdown. Wake up. Until you change, you'll stay predictable, disposable, and completely invisible. Number 2, what is Stoic seduction? Or how to stop being her emotional puppy. Let's get one thing straight. Stoic seduction isn't some cheesy cold guy act from a poorly dubbed soap opera. It's not pretending you don't care while you're dying inside, or playing an emotionless robot with the voice of a failed life coach. Stoic seduction is next level a way of life that hits hardest where you fumble most, your emotions. While 99% of guys treat every female like as a gold medal for validation, the Stoic seducer lives in a different league. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he's got something most guys lost: self-control. He doesn't turn into a bobblehead over a text. He observes, he analyzes, and most importantly, he knows respect isn't begged for with long texts. It's earned with presence. The Stoic feels everything but shows almost nothing. Cruel? Nah, it's strategy. While you're on your emotional knees, sending good morning gifts and blinking heart emojis, the Stoic guy stands tall, unshaken, untouchable. That's why he shines in silence. Stoic seduction makes her wonder why you're not tripping over yourself like the others. Why you don't reply in 2 seconds. Why your inner peace feels so damn intimidating. That's the magic. Emotional chaos doesn't come from overdoing it. It comes from restraint, from control, from mystery. Women aren't drawn to predictability. They don't vibe with emotional mirrors. They're hooked by the challenge, the man who doesn't need them to exist. That's real masculine power, not being a slave to your own desires. The Stoic seducer doesn't grovel. He doesn't beg. He doesn't send "Good morning, princess" at 7 a.m., hoping for an awe. He commands presence, not with loud boasts, flashy flexes, or dramatic texts, but with the precision of chosen gestures, deliberate absences, and silences that hit harder than 1,000 fire emojis. While the world fights for attention with clownery, he rules with poise, surgical coolness, and a presence that's a threat all on its own. Bottom line, become that man, or stay a needy extra in her emotional feed. Pick your role. Number 3, why attractive coolness works, or how to stop hurting your own neediness. Attractive coolness works for one simple reason. It flips the script. While you and the rest of the thirsty brigade follow the predictable playbook of "Good morning, where you been?" or "I was thinking of you," the cool, centered guy plays a different game. And he plays it well. While most dudes are emotional extras, he's the puzzle no one can solve and everyone wants to crack. The human mind loves a mystery. The female mind? It's wired for signals, vibes, and that emotional radar that picks up everything. Except obvious guys. When you don't melt, don't panic. Don't act like her breathing near your story deserves a shrine. She starts wondering. Why isn't he obsessed like the others? Has he moved on? Is there someone else? Was I just another fling? Congrats. You've planted the seed of doubt. And when doubt creeps in, desire takes over. Attractive coolness isn't disinterest. It's the absence of neediness. It's the guy who feels deeply but doesn't need to prove it every 10 minutes with a novel-length text or flying heart emojis. It's the man who doesn't beg for attention, who doesn't grovel, who knows his worth and doesn't trade it for a quick reply on WhatsApp. This guy doesn't spill everything. He hints. He doesn't chase. He strides sometimes straight out of sight because he's not here to feed her emotional voids. He's the mystery that unsettles, the absence that lingers, the silent presence louder than a million emojis. And then the inevitable happens. She starts filling in the blanks with projections, fantasies, guesses. She starts feeling not because you begged, but because you gave her space. Space to wonder, to want, to doubt. What's hard to get becomes emotional gold. It becomes her obsession. While you're chasing, she's running. But when you hold on to your emotional dignity, she starts chasing what she can't figure out. And what she can't figure out, she can't forget. Attractive coolness is effortless magnetism. You don't need to sing, prove, or flex. Just exist. Whole, steady, just out of reach. In that silence, she hears everything you never had to say. Number 4, the 5 pillars of calculated coolness, or how to stop being an emotional train wreck. Now that you get why attractive coolness works, let's level up, wielding that coolness with laser precision. Because heads up, Being cold without purpose isn't charm, it's dumb. It's apathy, disinterest, the guy who ghosts and nobody notices, the classic irrelevant phantom, calculated coolness. That's a masterpiece. It rests on 5 pillars that, when mastered, turn you from an emotional doormat into a monument of presence. Pillar 1, the restrained gaze. Your eyes are the window to your soul, and you're out here, gazing like a lost puppy at an adoption fair, begging for a pat on the head. Big mistake. Women read eyes like emotional GPS. If you're staring with hunger, she knows she's got the remote control, but a calm, restrained look with a hint of, I could take it or leave it. That drives her wild. Why isn't he fazed? Does he see this all the time? Boom, you've sparked doubt, and doubt breeds desire. Pillar 2, neutral reaction. She'll test you, always. A fake jealous jab, a strategic ghost, a subtle jab. And if you're smart, how do you respond? You don't. A slight smirk, a topic switch, or that glorious nothing that dismantles her emotional games. No reaction, no test. When she sees you're immune, she stops trying to control you and starts trying to understand you. Pillar 3, strategic silence. She ghosts. Ghost harder. She replies with one-word texts. Pull back like you didn't even notice. She throws shade, let it rot. Silence is your secret weapon. In that quiet, she'll spiral, crafting narratives, imagining what you're not saying. While the desperate guy sends, hey, you there, you send nothing. And that nothing is pure gold. Pillar 4, unshakable posture. Physical posture matters. Head high, shoulders back, eyes steady, voice low and calm. Stop slouching like you're apologizing for existing. Nervous giggles, over-the-top gestures, hunched shoulders. That screams emotionally defenseless. Your presence starts with your body. Carry yourself like you know your worth, because the world and she will respond to it. Pillar 5, mental self-control. This is where boys fall and men rise. Jealous? Breathe. Itching to text? Wait. Angry? Sit and think. Emotions are natural. The difference is who acts on them and who masters them. You're not an emotional panic button. You're the CEO of your mind. Stop acting like an intern begging for approval. When these pillars align, you're no longer that nice guy. You're unforgettable. The game isn't about pleasing. It's about leaving a mark. And only the rare, grounded, untouchable get remembered. Want to be that guy? Start by shutting down your anxiety. It's been shouting way too loud. Number 5, taming your emotional chaos, or how to stop being a hostage to your own meltdown. Think you can master seduction if you're losing it over a scene at 2:37 p.m.? Let's get real. Your emotional brain is a circus on fire, and you're the clown, the arsonist, and the audience all at once. Every story she posts with another guy, every ignored text, every empty, hey stranger, sends you into a meltdown like a birthday candle in a windstorm. And the worst part? You think it's love. Nah, bro, you're just out of control. Unrestrained emotions aren't romantic. They're desperate. And desperation reeks of failure. Good news, it's fixable. Bad news, it takes work. Emotional control doesn't just happen. It's built with method, discipline, and a good dose of self-respect. Practice 1, trigger journal. Yeah, you're gonna write. Not a love poem, a battle log. Every day, jot down what sets you off. She saw my text and didn't reply. Write it. She posted with another dude. Write that too. Name the trigger, note your pathetic reaction, then write what a stoic man would have done instead. This trains your brain that there's a path beyond freaking out. Practice 2. Delayed response. She poked you? You're pissed? Hold off. Wash dishes. Hit the gym. Do jumping jacks. Anything but reply in the heat of the moment. The guy who reacts on impulse hands over power. The guy who waits, he owns it. Every minute you delay is a middle finger to emotional slavery. Practice 3. Breath control. Sounds like cheesy self-help, but it's science, dude. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Do it 3 times. It slows the hormonal tidal wave, pushing you toward another digital disaster. Breathing is your emotional remote control. Use it. Practice 4. Voluntary detachment. Choose to unplug. Skip her stories. Don't stalk her profile. Don't ask mutuals about her. Not because you're a monk, but because you're in training. A Stoic doesn't get stronger by drowning in his obsession. He gets stronger by saying no, even when his heart screams, go. Emotional control isn't about not feeling. It's about staying in command. It's wanting to scream but choosing silence. Wanting to chase but choosing distance. Feeling everything but reacting to nothing. The difference between a desirable man and a desperate one? The desperate begs. The desirable commands. Before you dip, thinking you'll fix this by skimming, hear me out. Stop being her fancy doormat. Stop thanking her for scraps. Sick of being ignored, used, and emotionally recycled? Then move. There's an ebook linked below that'll teach you to stop swallowing your pride and start being the guy no woman dares to test twice. The world doesn't pity weak men. Either master your inner chaos or stay a side character in her emotional feed. Choose fast. The game's already on, and you're late. Number 6. Handling her tests like a pro, or how to dodge the come here, now go away trap. Thought you won the game just because she replied in under 24 hours? Cute, naive, borderline pathetic. That's when the real game starts. Before you were just an extra auditioning. But when she shows interest, brace yourself. It's screening time. And the name of the game? Emotional tests. The natural filter between men who hold their own and those who end up as group chat gossip. Why does she test? Trauma? Cruelty? Nah, it's biology. Instinct. A built-in system to sniff out emotional weakness. She needs to know if you're the real deal or just another wannabe who crumbles at a scene at 4:02 p.m. Tests come in all flavors. She drops a hint about another guy? Test. Ghosts for 3 days, then acts like nothing happened? Test. Says you seem distant to bait you into groveling? Test. Pokes you in public to see if you'll lose it? Test. Fail these and she won't write a report. She'll just think, another weak one. Respect. Gone. Desire. Already in an Uber. But if you handle it right or better, don't react at all. Something shifts. Ignore her jab with the cool confidence of someone who's seen it all and doesn't care. And she feels it. Don't chase when she tries to rattle you. And she notices. Vanish when she's fishing for attention and she's quietly panicking. The secret? Never take it personally. She pokes you, smirk. She tries to shake you, switch topics. She ghosts? Ghost harder. She posts shade, play blind. Your non-reaction is an emotional gut punch to her ego. Her manipulation thrives on your response and you. You don't give her a stage for drama. Every guy who chases during a test drowns. Every guy who meets chaos with calm becomes the mystery she can't crack. And what she can't crack, she craves. The Stoic knows every test is her trying to take the wheel. But he plays in silence. He watches, he stays, he commands. And that throws her off. She's used to guys who grovel, not ones who resist. When she pauses, stares, and wonders, who is this guy? That's when the game flips. Be the master, or crawl back to the line of desperate dudes. Number 7, cool versus cold-hearted. Or, how not to become an emotional ice cube with a hole in the middle. All right? You've learned to dodge her tests, vanish with style, ignore unread texts, and make silence your superpower. But here's the warning that separates sharp men from emotional ogres. Being stoic isn't being heartless, you walking block of emotional marble. There's a razor-thin line between strategic coolness and straight-up insensitivity. Cross it, and congrats. You're not the irresistible mystery. You're the emotionally stunted bore nobody wants around, not even as a friend. The Stoic feels everything, but chooses when and how to show it. He doesn't melt at the first "hey," but he's not a dry log in a rainstorm either. He shuts up when it's time, but speaks when it counts. He steps back when needed, but stands firm when it matters. It's emotional intelligence, not fake aloofness. The cold-hearted guy? Different story. He pretends he doesn't feel because he's terrified of his own heart. He hides behind a tough guy mask because vulnerability for 3 seconds would break him. His coldness isn't charm, it's unresolved trauma with a side of emotional abandonment. Result? Nobody connects with that. Women might be curious about a hard-to-get guy, but they only stick around for a real one. Coldness without soul becomes indifference. Indifference becomes boredom. Boredom becomes a block. Stoic seduction demands balance. You're not the clingy dude saying "I love you" on date 2, but you're also not the caveman grunting whatever at everything like every interaction's a chore. Want respect? Master this. Controlling emotion isn't killing emotion. True strength is feeling it all and responding with class. A guy who never shows anything doesn't seem strong. He seems empty, locked up, dull. Women admire the man who stays steady under pressure, sure, but they fall for the guy who, at the right moment, shows he's human, who shows care without seeming needy, who speaks his truth without seeming fragile, who sets boundaries but shows up fully. Insensitivity pushes people away. Conscious coolness builds value. The cold-hearted guy gets dismissed. The Stoic, nobody forgets him. Don't mistake poise for arrogance or strength for emotional paralysis. You want to be respected, not ignored. Desired, not tolerated. Control is everything. But without humanity, you're not a strong man. You're just a boring robot nobody wants to recharge. Number 8. The desire cycle. How coolness sparks obsession. Or, how to stop being the lovesick fool and become her silent addiction. When you nail calculated coolness, no tantrums, no neediness, no, "I can't take it, I'm sending a novel anyway," something beautiful happens. Her mind short-circuits. A cycle kicks off. A vicious loop of curiosity, doubt, and obsession, all fueled by your refusal to beg. The best part? You don't have to do anything but stay in control. That's it. Stage 1. Curiosity. You don't act like the rest of the desperate lineup. No drooling, no chasing, no selling your soul for a heart emoji. That intrigues her. And intrigue is seduction's golden ticket. What she can't figure out, she wants to understand. And what she wants to understand, she starts to crave. Stage 2. Doubt. She starts wondering, does he even like me? Is he seeing someone else? Am I just another name on his list? Bam, she's in the mental maze, and she doesn't even know it yet. Stage 3. Effort. Doubt stings. To ease it, she starts investing. She initiates chats, tests you, switches up her look, finds excuses to be around. All to get a reaction. But you stay present yet untouchable. That's when desire turns into obsession. Her brain's wired now. It's linked you to scarcity. And scarcity equals value. Value becomes priority. You, who used to be just another blip on her radar, become the emotional puzzle she can't delete. Why? Because you didn't cave. You didn't do the obvious. You didn't turn into another needy guy begging for attention like it's charity. Well-dosed coolness creates absence, creates space, creates a gap. Her brain aches to fill with attention, fantasies, effort. You become her emotional jigsaw puzzle, the riddle she's solving before bed. The more she tries, the deeper she's hooked. But here's the warning. The cycle only works while the mystery holds. The classic mistake of emotional desperados, breaking the cycle too soon. They get giddy over her attention, drop their guard, spill their guts, send flowers, write novels. Result? The spell's broken. What was rare becomes common. What was desire becomes boredom. The rule is simple. Never give it all away. You show you're there, but never fully. You take a step, then vanish for 2. You light the spark, then snuff it before it burns out. The man who owns her desire is the one she can't crack. You don't play to please. You play to be remembered. And trust me, she'll remember. Number 9, using the technique ethically, or how to be a man of value, not a bitter wannabe tough guy. Congrats, emotional Jedi. You're starting to see that silence speaks louder than a novel. A well-timed absence trumps 1,000 compliments, and not reacting can make you the enigma she can't shake. But here's the critical part, the line between real men and petty boys with fragile egos. Self-control gives you power, insane, quiet, almost hypnotic power, and that's where the danger lurks. When you notice she's affected, chasing, investing more than you, that's when the temptation creeps in. That little voice whispering, now it's your turn to mess with her. Make her feel what you felt. Get even. Listen to that voice and congrats. You've become what you swore to destroy, a cheap manipulator in Stoic clothing. Stoic seduction isn't a weapon to hurt others. It's armor to protect yourself. You don't train self-control to become an emotional predator. You train to stop being prey. You don't learn coolness to toy with feelings. You learn to shield your own. The guy who uses coolness for revenge is still chained to his grudges. He's not strong, he's just bitter. And bitterness is the calling card of losers. A dead giveaway you haven't moved on. A true Stoic doesn't need to humiliate to feel powerful. He's powerful because he can walk away with class, cut contact with grace, and never stoop to emotional theatrics for validation. Want to leave a mark? Be the memory that comes with respect. Want to be feared? Be the man who doesn't clap back with drama but with surgical absence. Want to be desired? Be the guy who doesn't need to tear anyone down to rise. Calculated coolness is for protection, not pain. It's for filtering who deserves you, not testing who's already broken. It's for using with conscience. Because a man who masters emotions and wields them ethically becomes a leader, a standard, a presence that teaches by example. But if you use it to stroke a wounded ego, congrats, you're not Stoic. You're just another problem. And problems? Nobody keeps those around, they get cut. So use it all. But use it with purpose. Or brace yourself to taste the poison you're brewing. Here's the deal. You've got the full arsenal now. The heavy artillery. Every bullet, every missile, every mental strategy to ditch the pathetic role of WhatsApp desperado and take the wheel of your emotional life. Now what? Now comes the part that separates men from wannabe alpha projects. Action. Talking a big game is easy. Reposting edgy quotes is a breeze. The real difference? What you do when her notification pops up and your finger itches. When your brain screams, just send an emoji, just a quick hey, and you choose silence. When anxiety claws at you, and you breathe instead of react. Here's your first real test. 3 days. No texts, no stories, no likes, no sneaky just checking stalks. Absolute Stoic surgical silence. And these 3 days, they're not about her. They're about you. About seeing how much your neediness still runs the show. How much you miss her. How much you try to BS yourself with excuses. How close you come to breaking and choose not to. That's the real test. The mirror showing if you're the master. Or just another approval junkie playing at superiority. Fail? Cool. That's called being human. Get up, dust off your ego, take a deep breath, and try again. Because self-control isn't about never falling. It's about falling and rising sharper, stronger, steadier. If you got this far and don't have the guts to take this challenge, I already know. You love the theory but still worship the victim role. But if you want to be remembered, respected, desired, drop a challenge accepted in the comments. I want to see who's here for the show. And who's here to transform. And if this content ripped the blindfold off your eyes, subscribe now. What's coming next isn't just content. It's a masculine reset, a reality check. The truth you've dodged your whole life. Remember, men who master their emotions, master everything. The rest? They're still begging for scraps in her 15-second story.